Hello and welcome to the Cesspool, and welcome back to the 25 Days of Christmas. I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate. I hope it's a good one. And as the little bonus video, the little I'm sorry to go along with the main video for today, considering we didn't have one yesterday, I will be going over the entire main game collection shelf that I have stood behind, I've sat behind, I've not talked about. So there's some stuff here that you may have already seen, some stuff you might see in the future, but I will just be going over the basic, the presentable stuff. And I'll just go section by section. It's not a ton, so I will briefly discuss everything on each shelf. And we'll start with the Super Nintendo shelf at the top here. Don't mind the lights, they do flicker a little bit. That's just on camera, that's not in person. And yes, the Super Nintendo shelf is one of my favorites, simply because the actual collection of boxes here, and of course being Earthbound, I have the box Super Nintendo that might be seen in a video one day, we don't know. The box Super Nintendo games that I do have, I feel like, are some of my favorites. Tetris Attack is just a fantastic game. The artwork is definitely iconic. Street Fighter 2, again, absolutely iconic. And the artwork in this game is just absolutely fantastic on the Super Nintendo box. Earthbound, the story of Earthbound in this particular collection is pretty much that I had finally had enough money to purchase it. And then, along with that, I found a deal that I really couldn't pass up, and now I own Earthbound, and it is one of my favorite games of all time, so I think it's only appropriate that I get to own it. It's absolutely a bucket list game, and it's kind of an honor to have this game. And it's funny because, like, you know, everybody loves Earthbound. It's one of the best games of all time, but no one owns a physical copy of it. Maybe they own Mother 2, like the Japanese Famicom version, but owning it in North American Earthbound it's hard to come by, and when you do find them, they are ridiculously expensive, which I don't disagree. And this copy was still ridiculously expensive. It was just a little bit less ridiculously expensive. And of course, right behind it is Mario's Time Machine, the best suitor for Earthbound, along with Street Fighter 2. And then Gary Kitchen's Super Battle Tank, only the best battleship for the Super Nintendo, that's just sitting there. And he's got some of the classics: Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Paddle F-Zero, all that fun stuff, just kind of the classics. And then we move over to the NES shelf, which is a small little cuboid here. And this is just mostly the boxes and then a few of the games. Kirby's Adventure being probably the nicest box that I own, definitely the most expensive. I got it for a very good price, so again. And then there's just some other stuff that's kind of back there. I got some amiibo that are just kind of hanging out. They're appropriate for the theme of this particular box. Some of the classic, this is probably the best one here. Castlevania 3. Out of these, I mean, Mario, okay, original Metal Gear, Excitebike, these are all kind of good games, but still, that's definitely the most valuable out of all of them. And then dropping down right below, we got a very different theme going here. This is the infamous Madden collection that kind of just hangs out and exists. I think the entire collection here is probably $20. No, you know what? The Super Nintendo one here, that's actually worth a little bit of money. $25, but it's worth a little bit of money. And this is kind of the PC section. Now I know Counter-Strike on the Xbox is not a PC game, but it's basically Counter-Strike's source, and I love Counter-Strike. Is probably, I don't even want to say it's one of my favorite games, but it's definitely the game I have probably the most hours in, so it's only appropriate to enshrine it in some way. And this is just kind of cool to own. So moving on to the next shelf, zooming on over here, is the Nintendo 64 section, which is a little Spartan. I don't have a ton of N64 stuff that I think is cool enough to showcase, but I have some of the classics here. We've of course seen these, and this has also been featured in that. We have the N64 in the box, which is nice, really, really, cool to own. And then just some of the better games that I have on display here. Mario Party 1, is that a better game? It's an okay game. It's a fun game with other people. I wouldn't play it alone though, that's like hell. And then yes, original Smash Bros, Banjo-Kazooie. And yeah, and we got a Mario from that generation. I believe that was actually I want to say that was a McDonald's toy, but maybe Burger King. I don't know. And then drop it on down one further. We are to the general handheld shelf now. And to start from this side, original Game Boy, of course, classic. And then we have a Game Boy Color. Now, this is a Japanese Game Boy Color that I converted to look like the Game Boy Horror from Luigi's Mansion, considering that is my favorite game of all time, is Luigi's Mansion. So I found the faceplate. This is a glass faceplate. I believe I got it on Etsy. It might have been eBay. And I made sure that this is the exact model that was used in the game. The clear Game Boy Color, which did not come out in North America. It was only Japan, so I had to ship it from Japan over here. And then I had to install the faceplate on there. It turned out nice. If I really wanted to, I could have thrown the LED that you see in Luigi's Mansion 1. That would be the Boo Radar. But I just, do I really care that much? No. It's just cool to have something that says Game Boy Horror on it. And behind these are some of my custom, they're not custom, they're from the Gamebox, custom Gamebox website, where they make reproduction like DS style cartridges, boxes for older Game Boy cartridges. So they're just kind of chilling back there. And then there's like the smaller DS stuff, smaller 3DS stuff. I have a lot of loose ones, but this is what I have in the boxes that I can dig up. And then right here is my Game & Watch pinball machine. This is out of battery, but it is a gorgeous little device. It really, really is. And then just the DS and the DS Lite and the DSi. And back there, just some of the more expensive Pokemon games that I own. Pokemon White being one of my favorites. Honestly, Heart Gold is too. I don't know what I'm talking about. Back there is the Club Nintendo exclusive for Japan soundtrack CD for the Mario & Luigi series, from the first game, Superstar Saga, up to Bowser's Inside Story. And I only really bought this, number one, because it's pretty interesting. I never really got into Club Nintendo when it was around. But the artwork on some of these CDs is just awesome. I absolutely adore this artwork of Mario and Luigi with headphones on. I think that's awesome. And this shelf is, it's got some Pokemon going on. I'll leave that down for now. And then moving on is just kind of miscellaneous stuff. I needed to be able to reach this light switch back here. So it's mostly still handheld, keeping with the theme of this level. But I threw my Atari games in here too. Of course, we've seen Combat before. These are a couple of my other Atari games that I own. Just some of the classics that Atari made, that they developed themselves. And then these are the boxed GBA and Game Boy Color games, which of course that's been featured in the gamepad if anybody's ever seen that. And this is the first game that I started my collection buying at my local game store. With my friend, as I've mentioned from the Mario Party, for the Japanese Mario Party videos. This was the first game that I purchased from that store that kind of started me on this journey of collecting retro games, and specifically boxes. So yeah, we have the Legend of Zelda, the classic NES series for GBA, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and then just this Atari game, Atari Anniversary Collection. I forget what games are even at, well, 6 Atari hits specifically. But I'm not going to go over them, that's not the point. And then Dragon Slayer, because I love Dragon Slayer. This version's not good, but it's just kind of cool that they put it on GBA, and it's just kind of a joke now. And then dropping on down one further from here, we have the GameCube games. That's it. My 3 different copies of Luigi's Mansion. Story behind that being, alright, so I bought Luigi's Mansion on eBay. They said it was the American version. Sent me the European, the PAL version. So that's that. That's why you got the little triangle at the bottom. GameCube logos on the other end. And then I purchased an actual North American copy. I left it at a friend's house, and I kind of lost touch with them for a while. So I bought another copy when I started up the collection, and then I regained contact with that friend, and he's like, "Hey, I still have that copy. You want it back?" I'm like, "Sure." So now I have two. On the shelf is a GameCube memory card with a little Pikmin there. Some of the other games, Mario Party 4 and 5, Mario Kart Double Dash, Mega Man, you know. Pikmin 2 is kind of an expensive one. I own Pikmin 2 on the Wii. I just kind of wanted the GameCube version. I gotta get rid of some of these Player's Choice games. The GameCube that I actually bought that I use actually came with the original Resident Evil here. Just was part of it. I can't complain. Super Mario Sunshine, Smash Bros. Melee. And then you got this little Mario display going on here. I got Mario mug from Nintendo of New York. And then Club Nintendo Mario playing cards. And then Hanafuda cards that were also from Nintendo in New York. And then these were just like third-party Mario figures. I actually forget where they're from. But this is a cool little display. I like these a lot, and I love like Nintendo playing cards. I find them fascinating. And the Hanafuda cards are honestly just gorgeous. I'm not gonna pull them out of the box or anything, but you know, they really are very pretty. And I would have to recommend, if there's one thing that you get out of like a trip to New York, you know, you go to Nintendo in New York or something, this is really the coolest thing to get. Don't get a mug, don't get a freaking t-shirt, no. This is something you can't get anywhere else. And switching gears entirely, we're going over to the dark side, where we have my Genesis in-box collection, and then obviously Night Trap. And then some PlayStation, Xbox. I mean, I have a lot of, you know, I just don't have a lot of physical versions of these games, and some trains are hanging out here too right now. I just don't have a lot of physical games. There's a couple Dreamcast games in here. I do own a Dreamcast. I don't play it very often, to be totally honest. I really do want to. I gotta get back into it. But the Genesis stuff, you know, you got Mortal Kombat back there. Some of the Sonic spin-offs, Dr. Robotnik, Streets of Rage 2, Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3, and then I own Sonic 1 and 2, and Knuckles actually, but they're not in box, and I gotta get the boxes for those, or else they're not going on the shelf like this. So, yeah, and then my PS1 through 3 games, I don't have a PS4 or 5, so PS3 is as far as it goes. And Xbox One games, and there's just another PC game hanging out there too. That should probably be moved, to be totally honest. And then dropping down to the last shelf here is the Wii U, and Switch games. And nothing really crazy going on here. I do have the Super Mario Galaxy commemorative launch coin, so that's kind of neat. That's from the launch of Mario Galaxy, and that was it. I got it for free. Not on the launch of Mario Galaxy, as much as I would love that. And then I have, yeah, the Wii U games, Wind Waker HD being probably one of the better ones that I own, as far as the value. I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, nothing here is really too valuable yet. I do have multiple copies of some games, Mario Maker and Smash Bros. Wii U. I was given a lot, and I just kind of acquired some of this stuff. Keep the Splatoon amiibos down here, and this is a USB with Wii U games on it, or Wii U data on it, so I leave it there so it doesn't get damaged. And then the Switch games, not much to talk about here. And that is honestly it for the main shelf. The only other thing is we can quickly check out the small display that I have for my consoles. So very quickly, this is the small separate console shelf that I have. And it's just some consoles and some random junk down there. But just consoles, and then I have some of the mini arcades. I have Missile Command from Replicade, and then quarter arcades, I have the Polybius unit, which obviously doesn't actually play a game, but I thought it was very cool, and I originally wanted to use it in a Halloween video, never got around to it, but they're really nice units, and obviously you can actually play Missile Command on that. I've gotten not very far, but it is very neat to own. NES, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and N64 in that order. And yeah, I just kind of keep them here because they just look nice. And yes, that's it for that, pretty much. So I'd like to thank everyone for taking a look at my shelf, and yeah, I hope you actually cared enough to watch this. If not, I totally get it, because it's basically just me showing off. I don't really mean it that way, but I just find people may actually be genuinely interested in the collection, since, you know, those are the videos that tend to do the best that I've noticed, so I thought I'd show, you know, what's worth showing. And I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I'd like to wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year again. And if you are keeping up with these by the day, I will see you tomorrow. And I would like to apologize again for not having the video out yesterday. So a situation came up where I was not able to do it. And yeah, if you're watching these in order, I will see you tomorrow. If not, I don't know when the next video will be, but I'll see you guys then.